Every morning, workers in the mining town of Carletonville, South Africa, walk to the shaft head and step into an elevator. The Mponeng gold mine headgear rises above the flat South African landscape near Carletonville with the mineshaft infrastructure visible at the surface. The elevator descends. It keeps descending. It descends for over an hour. By the time it stops, the workers have traveled 4 kilometers below the surface of the Earth. 4 kilometers. To put that in perspective, the height of Mont Blanc, the highest mountain in the Alps, is approximately 4.8 kilometers above sea level. These workers are almost as far below the Earth's surface as the highest peak in Western Europe is above it, except they are going the other direction, into rock, into darkness, into heat. The rock walls at the bottom of Mponeng are 60 degrees Celsius. 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperature of a hot sauna. Except it is not a sauna. It is the Earth's own interior heat radiating outward from rock compressed and heated by 4 kilometers of geology above it. An unprotected human at 60 degrees Celsius and 95% humidity would be in serious danger within minutes. The body cannot cool itself fast enough and through sweating. Core temperature rises. Heat stroke sets in. Without intervention, it is fatal. And yet thousands of workers descend into Mponeng every day because it is the world's deepest gold mine, and because engineers have solved the problem of keeping humans alive in one of the most hostile working environments on Earth. Their solution is extraordinary. Every day, more than 6,000 tons of ice slurry are pumped underground through pipes running the full length of the shaft. 6,000 tons every day. The ice is made on the surface in giant refrigeration plants that consume more electricity than many small cities. The ice slurry flows underground where it absorbs heat from the tunnel air. Giant fans circulate the cooled air through the working areas. The system reduces tunnel air temperatures from 60 degrees Celsius down to approximately 28 to 32 degrees. Hot by ordinary standards. Survivable by Mponeng standards. This is the geography of the deepest hole ever dug by humans. And today, Where on Earth takes you down to the bottom. Subscribe to Where on Earth and hit the bell. Now let us understand the geology that created both the gold and the lethal heat. A geological cross-section shows the Witwatersrand Basin in South Africa, ancient sedimentary and volcanic rock layers tilted and compressed beneath the South African landscape southwest of Johannesburg. Mponeng sits in the Witwatersrand Basin southwest of Johannesburg. The Witwatersrand Basin is one of the most extraordinary geological formations on Earth. Its name comes from the Afrikaans words for ridge of white waters, referring to the rocky ridge that forms the watershed between rivers flowing north and south across the South African plateau. The basin was formed approximately 2.9 to 2.7 billion years ago, among the oldest accessible geology on Earth. Approximately 3 billion years ago, rivers flowed across a now vanished landscape and deposited sediment in a broad inland sea or lake. That sediment contained gold that had been eroded from even older rocks upstream. Gold carried by ancient rivers and concentrated in the sediment as heavier particles settled first. The gold-bearing sedimentary layers called reefs were subsequently buried under kilometers of younger rock, compressed, metamorphosed, tilted by tectonic forces. The gold that made South Africa the world's largest gold producer for most of the 20th century came from these ancient sedimentary reefs preserved deep in the Witwatersrand Basin, and the deeper you go to reach the gold, the hotter it gets. The geothermal gradient describes how temperature increases with depth inside the Earth. In the Witwatersrand region, the temperature increases by approximately 9 to 11 degrees Celsius for every kilometer of depth. At 4 kilometers depth, the rock temperature reaches approximately 60 degrees Celsius. The same geothermal heat that makes Mponeng extraordinarily dangerous is the same fundamental energy that makes geothermal power stations in Iceland and Kenya generate electricity without burning any fuel. Earth's interior is generating heat continuously through the features of the radioactive decay of elements like uranium, thorium, and potassium in the crust and mantle. That heat flows outward from the interior toward the surface. At 4 kilometers depth, the accumulated geothermal energy has produced temperatures that challenge the limits of human engineering, and Mponeng has spent decades engineering its way around those limits. Now let us understand the full engineering challenge of the world's deepest mine. The main shaft at Mponeng descends approximately 3 kilometers in 2 stages, from the surface level to a depth of approximately 2.4 kilometers, then from that point to the current working depth of approximately 4 kilometers. The shaft diameter is approximately 9 meters. Through this shaft flows everything the mine needs to operate: workers, equipment, explosives, compressed air, ice slurry cooling water. fresh air ventilation, and flowing out in the other direction. Rock, gold-bearing ore. Approximately 6,400 tons of rock are excavated from Mponeng every day.
5,000 pounds of explosives are detonated in the mine every day to break up the rock face. Every blast creates new rock face, exposed fresh rock radiating heat into the tunnel environment. Every day the cooling system must absorb and remove that fresh heat. The mine employs high-volume ventilation fans at the surface, drawing fresh air down into the mine continuously. Without continuous fresh air flow, the tunnels would fill with the gases produced by explosives, detonations, and by the breathing of thousands of workers. But fresh air at surface temperature is still warm by the time it reaches 4 kilometers depth, compressed by the weight of 4 kilometers of air above it, further warmed by contact with the hot rock walls during its descent. The ventilation alone cannot cool the working environment. The ice slurry is what makes the difference. More than 6,000 tons of ice are delivered underground every day. The scale of this operation is difficult to comprehend. 6,000 tons of ice is approximately 6 million liters of water in solid form, made every day, transported underground, melted into heat, sent back to the surface, refrozen, sent underground again. A continuous loop of thermal management consuming enormous quantities of electricity and engineering attention. The electricity required to run the cooling, refrigeration, ventilation, and hoisting systems at Mponeng is estimated to be enough to power a city of approximately 50,000 people, just to operate one mine. The economic equation that makes this worthwhile is the gold. Mponeng's ore is among the highest grade gold ore in the world. The deeper reefs contain concentrations of gold that justify the extraordinary cost of reaching them. Harmony Gold, which operates the mine, approved a ZAR 7.9 billion life extension in 2024 to extend the mine's operational life by an additional 13 years to 2040.
The gold is worth going deeper, but the engineering challenges of going deeper increase with every additional meter. Now let us understand the extraordinary discovery made in the water at the bottom of Mponeng. Scientists lower sampling equipment into ancient groundwater seeping from rock fractures deep in the Mponeng mine. In 2008, scientists studying the mine made one of the most significant biological discoveries of the 21st century. In ancient groundwater seeping through rock fractures at depths of approximately 2.8 kilometers, they found a bacterium. Named Desulforudis audaxviator from a Jules Verne quote meaning bold traveler who travels down into the earth. This bacterium lives in complete isolation. No sunlight reaches its environment, no photosynthesis powers its metabolism, no connection to the surface ecosystem provides it with nutrients. It lives entirely on chemical energy, deriving its energy from the radioactive decay of uranium in the surrounding rock. The same radioactive decay that generates the geothermal heat. Desulforudis audaxviator makes up nearly 100% of the microbial community in the water where it was found, a single species ecosystem. Unique in the known biological record, it can fix nitrogen from its environment to build proteins. It can fix carbon. It can survive radiation levels that would be lethal to most surface organisms. And it has been living in complete isolation in these rock fractures for potentially millions of years. The discovery rewrote the understanding of where life can exist on Earth, and it has profound implications for the search for life elsewhere. If life can survive at 4 kilometers depth in total darkness, deriving energy from radioactive decay in ancient rock on Earth, then similar conditions in the subsurface of Mars or in the ocean floors of Jupiter's moon Europa could potentially support similar life. The world's deepest gold mine accidentally discovered a new kind of life. Now let us understand the emerging scientific question that Mponeng's existence is forcing researchers to take seriously. The extreme geothermal heat that makes Mponeng one of the most dangerous workplaces on Earth is the same fundamental phenomenon that powers geothermal energy stations in Iceland, New Zealand, Kenya, and the Philippines. In those places, hot volcanic geology close to the surface allows relatively shallow drilling to access steam or hot water that can drive electricity turbines. But volcanic geothermal zones are geographically limited. They exist where tectonic activity rift zones, hotspots spreading ridges, brings geological heat unusually close to the surface. Most of the world does not sit above volcanic geology. Most of the world cannot access geothermal energy with shallow drilling, but the geothermal gradient exists everywhere. Every place on Earth gets hotter with depth. In most places, you have to drill approximately 3 to 5 kilometers to reach rock temperatures high enough for useful geothermal energy generation. Mponeng already descends 4 kilometers. It already accesses rock temperatures of 60 degrees Celsius. Not hot enough to generate electricity efficiently with current technology, but hot enough to demonstrate proof of concept for mine geothermal extraction. A paper published in the journal Science Direct in August 2025 proposed an integrated mine geothermal extraction and cooling system. The system would use the existing shaft infrastructure of deep mines to extract geothermal energy and simultaneously cool the working environment and power surface applications. The concept takes the heat that Mponeng currently fights and treats it as an energy resource. Chinese researchers published a feasibility analysis in the journal Energies in 2024, examining how deep mine geothermal systems could cool underground working environments. They also examined providing thermal energy for surface heating and hot water supply. Their analysis found that the economic efficiency of such systems improves significantly when the heating scale is larger and the mine infrastructure already exists. Mponeng's infrastructure already exists. The shafts are already drilled. The pipes are already installed. The engineering expertise to manage heat exchange at this depth already exists. The question being asked by geothermal researchers is whether the thermal energy currently being dumped into ice and wasted could instead be captured, transferred to the surface, and used productively. Harmony Gold's approved 2024 life extension includes plans for electrification and automation projected to reduce carbon emissions from mine operations by approximately 30%. Renewables are projected to supply more than 1/3 of core operations by 2026. The mine is already transitioning toward lower carbon operation. The integration of geothermal energy recovery is the next logical step being studied by researchers worldwide. Mponeng has spent decades building the world's most sophisticated deep earth thermal management system, not to generate energy, to survive. But the engineering knowledge developed to fight the heat at 4 kilometers depth is exactly the knowledge needed to harvest it. The world's deepest gold mine descends into geology that generates heat at 60 degrees Celsius. It pumps 6,000 tons of ice underground every day. It discovered a bacterium that lives without sunlight powered by radioactive decay. It is teaching engineers how to manage extreme thermal environments at depths that matter for the global geothermal energy future, not accidentally solving the global cooling crisis, but accidentally becoming the world's most advanced laboratory for understanding what happens when human engineering meets the deep heat of the Earth. Subscribe to Where on Earth for weekly geography that reveals the extraordinary world beneath the surface. Hit the bell and drop your thoughts in the comments below, because the world looks very different when you understand the geography of the deepest hole ever dug by humans.